Okay, good evening, everybody. It is Thursday, the 7th of September. How are we doing on this very 32 degrees centigrade, hot, beautiful Indian summer? Never going to complain. Love it. Long may it make us feel warm for later on in the year, right? So we are in chapter 10. Not long to go. So remember, if you're inviting people onto the book club, we're starting the new book on the Thursday, the 28th of September. So the last Thursday, and I think there's going to be a few people coming back. I think there's going to be some new people as well, because all I ever do is go like nag about how's your mindset, what book are you reading, why are you not involved in the book club, you said you want to promote, you said you want this, you said you want that. You need to do the thing, and this thing is action, but if you don't have the right mindset around action, you're not going to achieve the results you want, ever. So, how are we all doing? Good? Yes? Okay. Also, I know that Karen sent me, she's actually, her dad is not well, so she's gone off on a retreat somewhere abroad to see that his life and her roots before, and to come back before her dad passes away. So she has given her apologies, and she will be back in the next book club. So she is still around. Bless her heart. Okay, cool. Let's get started then. Chapter 10. I really enjoyed this chapter. How did you guys find this chapter? Yeah, influence in the marketplace. I found this so beautiful. Again, Donna bearing her heart and soul, and there was a lot of things that I felt was relevant to us, especially I think all of us are in Arbonne in this business with kids. Super interesting. So very, let's start. So she says, having a career, it's just a couple of sentences, I'll read it. It's not just about putting food on the table or trading hours for dollars. We are not rats, and life is not a race. A tremendous amount of thought and diligence should be applied when deciding on a career path, one that is aligned with your values and purpose. I feel, yes, she is so right, but how many of us know what our true values and purpose are when we are made to choose that career and we don't even know truly our own mind, or it's really hard, isn't it? I mean, I know, oh, we have a visitor with us. There he is. Hi. Give us a wave. Dominic with the curly K. That's right. So Dominic, what do you want to do when you grow up? Do you know?
What do you want to do when you grow up?
I'd be a police officer.
Oh, so you already know.
With my friend.
And how old are you again, Dominic?
With his friend Cairo.
And you're how old, Dominic?
How old are you?
6.
Pretty good, right? I wish I knew. Oh no, I didn't know what I wanted to do when I was 6. Thank you. Well, I hope that you do get to be a policeman. I'm sure you will, because you're a very smart boy.
Before they will be catching the bad guys.
Yes, not the girls. You don't need to catch the bad girls, just the bad guys, okay?
Okay, I'm gonna catch Nikki and you.
Oh! You will. You're right.
Find you.
Find them.
I'm gonna go to your house with my mum because I don't know.
Are you? Well, I'm going to be living in Canada, so good luck on that one.
We will come there.
Okay. Okay, anybody else? Did you know what you wanted to do when you were 6? Unmute and share, or put it in the chat. What did you want to do when you were 6? I know I wanted to be a ballerina. Then I wanted to be an air hostess. Remember that? I wanted to be a can-can dancer as well. You know, the ones with the skirts, like I wanted, or actress, says Steph. I can see that. You kind of went down that road anyway. So isn't it funny how sometimes you just know at a young age and actually you end up that path? Oh, Caroline, a pop star. What happened to that, Caroline? Not quite work out, no?
So we couldn't sing. I've actually got a school report, something I found, and I was 8, and in it I went on and on about wanting to be a pop star and actually wanting to be famous, which I can't believe, because growing up, that's like couldn't be further from what I want. And back then, obviously, there's no social media. You know, being famous, being a pop star was like a Hollywood thing. You know, you were it wasn't like
Yeah.
it is today.
And also
So-
probably those dreams age 6, how many were we probably talked out of it, you know, because it was too far-fetched.
I was just going to say it was totally like unattainable in you know, in the early 80s.
Yes, exactly. Lucy wanted to make Christmas trees. How did that turn out for you? Well, not really, no, but creative, right? So you end up doing something with your hands, hairdressing. So kind of went another way, but still very much more creative styling, you know, maybe not trees, cutting hair, but similar in a way. Who else? Did anybody from age 6, like Dom is going to be a policeman, turn out? I mean, Steph, I think you're pretty close to what you said. Anybody else who had something they wanted to do?
I didn't, but my son did. He's known since he was 6. He came home telling me what he wanted to do. So I'm not quite sure where that came from, but I didn't till I was 16. Then I knew what I wanted.
Oh, you knew at 16? Well, that's better than me. Yeah. Okay. Steph, your hand is up.
So one of the things that I did there, I had a little office at home, and sometimes it was a school and I was a teacher, and sometimes I was a travel agent. So my mother would, anytime there was a family party, my parents had friends come over for drinks, they all had to come to the office and book a trip with me or do a banking transaction. And I have ledgers of fictional names, fictional accounts, and where transactions were happening. So not only am I an actor, but I was totally doing what I'm doing in Narbonne. And at my very first party that I ever did, I don't really do parties, but I happened to do one once. Somebody hosted for me, and I had my makeup box with the tray, you know, the trays you could pull out, that old makeup box. And I, like, all of a sudden hit the roof with excitement because I was like, this is my dream, talking about cosmetics and pulling things out like in my own little fictional world as a kid.
Oh,
Yeah, amazing.
I love that.
It was all meant to be.
So really, maybe if we come back around, even though we weren't specifically a Christmas tree, you know, somebody decorating a Christmas tree, but in a way, there was a hint, right? I mean, I know for me, dancing was a big thing, and I would choreograph. So my friends would come around and I make us do routines. Like I was the boss with the music. My dad remembered saying he'd sit there watching his little bums and legs kick in the air, you know, and that was my thing. Like I was always the boss. I was always in charge of making something happen. That kind of worked out that in a way, right? How weird, right? A leader, I guess. So excellent. So it's kind of fun to have that. And let's see if your children end up being, you know, if Dom ends up being a policeman, I think he wants to follow in his grandfather's footsteps, right? Yeah. Okay, lovely. That's so sweet. Okay, so page 173. So she just talked at the top of the first paragraph, the last sentence, finding the right pathway for your career is worth the time and effort, regardless of how old or how far into your current trajectory you are. Do we feel right now that we are where we are meant to be? Is anybody, do we feel we found it? Lucy, no, she's definitely got a no going on there. Morag's nodding. Leslie, Dottie's a bit cum si cum sa. Okay, why is that, Dottie? What is going on?
I think it's like with the social work, it's, you know, that's always been my passion and helping, but then it's been so difficult over the last few years. So I'm like, do I really want to keep doing it? So there are some challenges there, but then like, you know, so grateful for, you know, being in Arbonne, but there's no way I want to be. So again, I'm like, you know, I should be doing more. But again, it's like, pull yourself back, you know, it's all journey. We're all learning for a reason. So again, but then that gives me as well, like open eyes, you know, with the social work, how it's working, what I'm putting into it. So it's, you know, that's what it's like, yes and no.
Gotcha. Almost walking like an Egyptian with your head. Can't do that, you know. Anyway, okay, cool. All right, so page 174. Okay, so it is the third paragraph. Success didn't happen overnight, all the way to the bottom of that page. A picture that promises get rich quick. So Steph, I would like to start, please.
Okay, I'm sorry. I was just texting in the chat. I have to go, but
You have to go now?
well, yes, I'm going to put on I'm going in the car. I have to bring Robin to a doctor's appointment. Once I'm parked, I will open and I'll have my iPad to read. I just can't do it right in this moment.
Okay, go. You're fine. All right, Lucy, you're up. It's you, my lovely.
success didn't happen overnight, but by staying consistent and diligent, and with the help of my incredible team, I have built one of the largest, longest lasting organizations in a global direct sales network marketing profession. Wow. One of the things I love about our profession is the build it in mentorship with our business model. It's a people business, which energizes me. You become successful by helping clients and other entrepreneurs, which creates a natural ripple effect, except for having to be an 18-year-old. Your level of education, race, gender, religion, or background is not a criteria. It is simply do the do and the work and work hard until, which means, like most jobs, compensation often comes long after your initial work. My philosophy is to under promise and over deliver, because while it is simple business, it's not easy. I believe it's unethical to paint a picture that promises get rich quick.
Thank you. Okay, so we know that, don't we? And I think what's interesting is sometimes it takes longer than we think. Anybody get that feeling? You know, I think that's what happens. You know, you do it. They say you do a lot for a little at the beginning, end up doing a little for a lot. But I don't think that's right. I still do a lot. Like, but I'm nowhere near where I want to be. So that's why. But also, like, you know, when you do something you love, it's called passion. You never work a day in your life. When you go to work to get paid, it's called stress. I just want to read you. Actually, I need to find it while we're chatting. So before I do that, so obviously she's talking about Arbonne, isn't she? And you know, the beginning of the chapter, she says how she fell into the lap of being a secretary, but it wasn't her passion. And then obviously Arbonne came around, and it became her passion. Well, yeah, she found her passion. So the top of page 175, a lovely quote by our incredible Rita Davenport, president of Arbonne for 20 years, says, "If it's easy, it's sleazy." Now, she's missed out the best part. So Rita used to say, if it's easy, it's sleazy, we get a white bike, but we get a white Mercedes. So I guess she probably couldn't say that in there. Karen, are you in Arbonne? Let me just confirm. I know
Yes.
Sally, you are. Okay, Sally's
Yes.
not. So, okay, thank you, darling. Just want to make sure. Okay, so the second paragraph, not everyone is all the way to a boss ruling over you. It's very short and sweet. Dottie, that one's on you, my lovely.
Not everyone is meant for the discipline of self-employment. We encounter procrastination and distractions every step of the way. However, if you can master ruling over your career, you can avoid a boss ruling over you.
Absolutely right. So who has got that commitment? Because this is a problem, isn't it? When people get self-employed, they, you know, the excitement is I get to choose my hours, but then they end up not even doing anything, right? And the confusion then sets in. Who finds it quite easy to be able to be in control and be self-disciplined? Who finds that something natural, it's just natural to them? Or who's on the other side of the scale and finds that procrastination is something they have to sort out, or maybe on a regular basis? So who finds it easy to motivate themselves? Put your hands up. So Leslie's in and out. Dottie. Okay, who finds it difficult? Dottie. Okay, so thank you for being honest. Dottie, I'm going to ask you again, why do you find it difficult?
When I was reading this, I was like, oh, probably because, you know, it's not for everyone. That's me, that's my excuse. You know, I was reading it thinking that's me. But then if I'm going to work, I know I have to get up and go. If I've got my cleaning or other job, you know, I said I will be there, I will be there. So I was actually thinking, why is it that, come on, do this 20 minutes or do this half an hour follow-up? Why is it still, I still don't understand it, why I cannot really just do it.
You need to give yourself a timeline. Then you have no choice. Like I said on that Go for the Gold, I gave myself 30 minutes to speak to 5 people, and I went, intentionally did it, came back. That's the difference. You're not giving yourself a timeline.
Yeah. I'm like, oh, I do it later. I do it afternoon. Then it's after school. Oh, it's busy. I do it in the evening. Then it's
Yeah.
evening. Oh, they're asleep now. I do it tomorrow. And it's like, oh,
Yeah.
I was like, why am I doing this?
Yeah, and even get to a point where you give yourself 30-minute segments throughout the day. 30 minutes, email, done, stop, next. If you haven't done it, you're not meant to, or 15 minutes, 30 minutes, you know, whatever that is from, you know, and then that's it, move on. You're not, you know, so otherwise only go on Facebook at the end of when you've done all your things you have to do, you know, to catch up, you know, because there's that distraction, isn't it? And it's getting louder. The white noise is getting louder. The world is getting faster. And to keep up with that, you know, you just end up losing yourself in it rather than becoming in control of your own destiny.
Yeah. And
So
then you get more frustrated because you've not done it, isn't it? And it's that circle. Oh,
well,
maybe
you
I can't
do. I
it.
don't, but you know, no,
Yeah.
some, of course I'm human. I do too, you know.
No.
And it's like, but you know, it's like, yeah, I'm with you totally. Interesting how people, because R1's hard. It's not easy. You're gonna put it off because it's like you really have to get your head in the game and you have to be with the right energy as well. Yeah, that's why you have to be ready for people to put you down. You know, I went out and prospected 3 people today, but the 4th one in the car park turned me down, which was absolutely fine. But you know, again, that's how it is, and you have to be ready to receive that and to accept it and not to think about it and move on very quickly. Yeah. Okay, so I love this bottom bit of that page 175, that bottom paragraph, when she said that she said send a thank you note to her guidance counselor, the one who suggested she become a secretary because she'd been featured in the first chapter of Think and Grow Rich for Women, in between Mother Teresa and Oprah. I mean, really, you can ask for better than that, could you, right? Okay, moving over to this 3-dimensional success she calls about your calling. So at the bottom of page 176, she says, number 1 is creating and maintaining balance in your life. Number 2 is making a difference. And 3 is financial peace. So we're going to go through so the first one, would we say that most of us have balance in our lives? Do you think as we're older we're able to recognize the need for it more? But then if you're going on a promotion, you're not going to have balance. You don't want balance. It's not meant to be balanced, because that's the craziness to get you to the balance. Stay there for a while and then create the tsunami, right? And then you get the balance. It's like raising that vibration, isn't it? So we've talked about this before, when you're like at 101 FM, but you don't want to be at 101 FM. You don't. District is a great place to get to, but it's not. You don't want to hang out there. It's not cool. Okay. So when you get there, you then have to recoup, get to that level, and be comfortable at that vibration. And then, because we're not growing, we're not dying, we're not growing, and nothing stays the same, you then have to rally yourself up to get to that 102 FM. And that's when you do get out of balance. But it doesn't take long. But also, then you get to the next vibration, and then it's holding that. For me, it's a lot easier to get in the room than stay in the room. Yeah. And then you be comfortable at that place, and then you've got to go again. And it never ends. It never ends. It's always going to be your calling. Always. So you've got to learn to get comfortable with being uncomfortable. Yeah, always. Yeah. Okay, so making a difference. So let me have Leslie, can you unmute and read Making a Difference for me, please?
Making a difference. Don't just make a living, make a difference. Your career will be satisfying and meaningful when you are engaged in adding value and helping others. It creates a sense of significance, knowing you are living in contribution, similar to the deposits in the emotional bank account I shared earlier.
Okay, so I love this emotional bank account, I hadn't really come across this much before, but it's so true. So what are the emotional bank accounts that we are making deposits into? What are they? Can you give me some examples? Unmute and share with me what you would say would be a deposit in your emotional bank account. Just shout out.
I would say charity, for example, we do a new domain towards charity percentage.
Yeah.
Effort.
Yeah, charity. Anything else, guys?
I always think emotional bank account is like our feelings, and like so if we're having lots of positive feelings, it builds up the bank account, and it's really abundant. But then if we start to make we've got lots of negative feelings, it's withdrawals, and we're taking away from that, so it becomes a lot less and we feel a lot lower, and then we have to work harder to build that up. That's how I see.
That's nice. Yeah, I love that. So you always want to be putting in more than taking out, right?
UK conference.
You want more, Ag?
UK conference.
Cauldrons?
Conference.
A conference, yeah, absolutely. How about drinking the green gut glow? Because physically you can be adding into, oh, there she is, with Karen's got hers right there. So physically you can be adding into your emotional, because your body's going to feel good, because we are all three at one time. We are physical, we are intellectual, and we are spiritual. It's not that, we're always in alignment. So if that bank account is, it all works in harmony, right? Everything is interconnected. So your gut is connected to every single cell, every single organ in your body. Yeah? Everything is a pathway, a bit like the redwood forest, right? So actually, that emotional bank account is feeding everything. Yeah, in every context. So I don't think it's separate. I think actually it's the sum of the whole and the whole of the sum. Does that make sense? Yeah. Okay, so the financial piece. Woo! So second paragraph, it is not money itself that is evil. It is the love of money. How many times have we heard this, guys? It is the love of money. Do we agree with that? Does anybody, I've got this annoying bloody big blue fly. Does anybody not agree with that? I think you've got it too, Dottie. Anybody not agree with the whole thing that money, that the love of money is evil? We all agree? Okay. I just saw the color of your pen there, which is blue. Yeah. Blue is for learning, but black is like a piece, more of a, blue is for learning pen, but black is more of a centered, peaceful pen. Just saying. I got taught that by Suki Wahawali, my mentor, years and years ago. Yeah, just saying. Okay, so all right, Napoleon Hill's book, Think and Grow Rich. Ooh, I love the shout outs for books we've already read at the bottom of page 177. The concept. So she actually answers the mysterious question he asks at the beginning and leaves it for us to work out what is, the answer to Think and Grow Rich. She says that the concept is to think and grow rich, not grow rich and think. I don't think you can get rich without thinking, do you? Unless you're born into a lot of money, like Paris Hilton, right? So so interesting. So similarly, then turn over the page. Not to grow rich. Sorry, similarly, it's not to grow rich and give, it's to give and grow rich. So we know that's a concept. B&I, we do networking, we don't give to get, but when we do give, we do get, right? Yeah, that's the whole thing about giving first. And then it's not to grow rich and have integrity, it's to have integrity and grow rich. Interesting, right? So then what she's doing is the bank, emotion bank, she's going on to give us 3 examples, and more like you mentioned the charity thing. The ethical thing is number 2, refer a client back to the appropriate business partner. And I've heard that mentioned quite a lot lately, right? And the third thing is that extra gift in a client's order. So, however, all the way to with integrity, Caroline, can you unmute and read that for us, please?
Sure. However, it's important to do those things now, not after you are successful, whatever success means to you. Remember, do the right thing in the right way for the right reason. As your success grows, your giving and tithing can increase as well. Waiting to do the right thing after you're successful is not living with integrity.
Okay. So, do we agree with this? Yeah. Pretty much, right? Anybody here already putting this into action? Is anybody, you are, Morag, what are you doing right now?
Well, I would say it's quite funny because I've felt for quite a while I've given a lot, whether it's be from having had my retail store and given a lot away. I'm still got more to give to a charity I'm meeting next week, and another one I'm giving away some kids money. There's a whole load of things I'm giving away further. And I felt I'd given a lot away and not really had anything. You don't give to receive per se, but a good friend's given me a huge offer of a place to stay. She just wants the bills paid. And I feel that this is me being repaid in a sense. It's like this is I'm being paid, I'm being given payment for what I have done before, if you like. So that's for me quite huge.
I love that, paving it forward. So isn't that interesting? I agree with you so much, because there's many times when I'm calling on all my angels, archangels, guardian angels. For example, in Vegas airport when I was about to get arrested, and I was like, I don't know if you know the story, but anyway, and I was like, oh shit, it was not funny, and I was told I might get a night in jail or a felony fine. I was like, oh shit, and I was calling, and every time I get up shit creek, I get away with it every time. And I believe that's because all the kindness I've put out there. So when I need it to come back, it always does, because you don't give to get, but when you do give, you do get, and you'll always get it, not from the person you gave it to. And that's where people go wrong. Never going to happen. Okay, but it'll happen in boundless leaps somewhere else where you won't expect it. You might give money, but you'll get kindness back. You know, you might give out a kindness, but you'll get money back. Who knows? It doesn't matter. It's all equivalent in its own energy sample, because money is energy, right? All of it is energy. Kindness is energy. All of that. So I'm totally with you on that page, and I have had my arse saved many times. In fact, that bank of goodness be needing to draw out on it, I need to actually start replenishing the other side, I think, because yeah, I've danced a lot with the edge. I've danced on the edge a lot. Should I say I'm not falling off? So I love it. Anybody else feel strongly about that? Want to share a story that they did something for somebody one time and it came back another way they would never have, but now they see the connection? Did you put your hand up on that, Dottie? Go ahead.
Yeah, I was just thinking, because I'm every so often I'm like sorting, you know, Dominic's clothes or whatever. So I don't put them like to a charity, but I'm thinking of a friend or somebody who is in need, or, you know, one of my friends, she's now poorly. So again, I've been taking her more, and I got I was running out of the strawberry shake. So I thought, oh, bless her, she needs it because she's going through chemotherapy. I said she needs it more. So I just got it as a free gift. And again, by giving it to her, it was much more, you know, I was like, there you are, drink it. And as well, she's got a boy like Dominic, he's a little bit smaller. So I said, do you want some clothes? She said, yeah, that'd be perfect. So I gave it to her yesterday. And then in the evening, my friend rings, oh, I'm just sorting out some clothes. And her boy is like 8. Do you want some clothes for Dom? So I just get rid of loads, and the same evening, more clothes coming in. So it's like, wow, how quick, you know, it works.
I love that. Thank you. I see Nikki's joined us. Hey, good evening, Nikki. Hey, so interesting. Let's come to you in a minute. I really believe in that. And I remember such that You Were Born Rich Bob Proctor saying about, if you're going to a boot fair, I used to do this when my kids were tiny, and you're selling that bib or that baby toy for 50p, that's all you're going to get. But if you give it, it's going to come back in buckets that you won't even, you know. So I ended up giving everything to the charity a woman in our team, Helen Walton, had. It was a charity, not Little Miracles, but it was like young girls who had kids, you know, and didn't have the money. So I gave my cots, I gave my mum and pop a pushchair, I gave everything, just went to the hospital, gave it all to them, you know, and that was a start. And then if you're whining about paying your bills, again, that was another thing. Like when you get a bill, you want to be joyful that, first of all, that you've had electricity, that you've been using your phone the whole month. So you, like he would talk about checkbooks, that's how old this is, but you put a smiley face and you say thank you, you know. And then there was a third thing. Oh, don't buy cheap. Cheap is not good. Cheap is just like beneath, you know. It's about you can get value for money or a bargain, but never do the cheap thing. And again, so those 3 principles, I was like, I'm going to incorporate them in my life, and I did, and I still do them to this day. And I'm sure that they have come back in ways I don't even know of, as well. So Leslie, your hand is up.
Yeah, so I was just thinking about sort of before, I guess, I got involved with Arbonne and how I used to give, and something I've really learned through book club and everything we do is that you just have to be careful about, especially when it comes to your emotions, about giving, because I think there was a time when I was giving from an empty cup and I'd never fill myself back up, and I was then constantly feeling depleted because I was giving everything to everybody else. And yes, it does come back. I wasn't giving time for it or allowing myself to come back in. So I was, you know, always pouring from an empty cup or a depleted cup, you know, that was overdrawn, well overdrawn. So as much as we need to, I need to do an MOT. You need to look after yourself as well and make sure that you allow the good things to come back in while you're dishing it out, and make sure you've got enough energy to keep yourself going while giving. But I've had lots. I give now in a much better way, and I do see it come back in so many different ways. And I just go, reciprocity will pay me back whatever it is that I'm doing in terms of giving. I make sure that I am giving from a cup that is, you know, abundant rather than depleted. So
that's well said. So again, that's emotional bank account, isn't it, there? Because you can give, and I know you give. I mean, you know, you give in abundance, but the point being is, if you're giving in your place from lack, you're not giving, you're actually taking, right? Or if you're giving in that way of like resentment, or you give, but then you start to resent, you're not giving, you know? So it really is, you're so right. You need to give in the right state as well. Anyone want to add to that? You got a clap from Morag. We don't often see claps on the screen, so very well said. Like that. I just want to quickly talk to you about something very interesting about the whole thing about time. I'm just reading this other book right now, and it really hit me. And I never thought, because I hate the word reality. I just like, you know, I just kind of like, I want to like smash that word to smithereens. But I just want to read the story about it's a John Maxwell book, and he talks about this this guy and who was in prison in North Vietnam. He was a pilot shot down in the Vietnam War, and he basically survived 8 years. And he was interviewed about his imprisonment. The defining event of my life, he said, is I never lost faith in the end of the story. I never doubted not only that I would get out, but also that I would prevail. So when he was asked who didn't make it out in a similar situation, he said, "Oh, that's easy. The optimists." Now, I can't stop thinking about this. So the interviewer was confused. He was like, "Can you explain? Like, because isn't that a good thing, being an optimist? We're here optimists." And he says, "Oh, they were the ones who said, we're going to be out by Christmas, and Christmas would come and Christmas would go. Yes, it's the Stockdale principle." Sally, spot on. And then they'd say, anyone else heard of the Stockdale principle here? Oh, okay, I hadn't either. So Sally, you should be reading this. So then they'd say, "Oh, we're going to be out by Easter," and Easter would come and Easter would go. And then Thanksgiving, and then it would be Christmas again. And they all died of a broken heart. So what Stockdale said gave Collins the idea for the Stockdale paradox was, this is a very important lesson. You must never confuse faith that you will prevail in the end, which you can never afford to lose, with the discipline to confront the most brutal facts of your current reality, whatever they might be. So retain faith that you prevail in the end, regardless of the difficulties, and at the same time, confront the most brutal facts of your current reality, whatever they might be. I thought that was fascinating. You know, I think more like you can probably apply that to you in your situation, because sometimes we don't know the time it's going to take when we enter into a court, let's say a court case, or when we're going through a divorce, or when we're in a situation that isn't nice. You know, COVID, I remember people doing these silly jokes about the hairy bush and under the arms, and they're all coming out, you know, ooh, and it was like 6 weeks. How long did that last for? And how many people were affected by it, you know, because nobody saw the longevity of it, right? And so we had to stay the course until, but have the faith we would prevail, and we would come out the other end, but we couldn't predict when. And the longer it took, the more people became stressed and became in a worse state of mindset. The mental state became worse and worse. What do you think to that? That was quite an opening to me, because I would never choose the word reality over optimist ever. But I was like, that is so interesting. So it's until, right? So if you're in a place where you don't want to be right now in your business, you've got to know you will, the only constant is change. You will come out the other end, but how long will that take? It's not up to you. Yeah. That's not up to you, but you got to know it. You will prevail. That's the only faith you can keep alive. Yeah, fascinating. Good. Anybody want to comment on that? I know I've diversified, but I just found that really interesting because I never heard that before, and I was like, oh, yes, Steph, hands up. Go ahead. Oh wait, unmute. Or for some reason, wait, we can't hear you, but it doesn't say your mute is on. I know this is horrible in the car. Are you going through your car speaker right now? Oh, can you switch your engine off of your car maybe? Oh, shame. I hate this. She's like, now I'm getting hot flustered. I don't know how to help. Does anybody? Wait, Lucy, unmute and say what you're going to say.
If she unplugs her phone, if it's plugged into a car.
Oh wait, now we can see your unmute button came on, but no, we can't hear you. Damn it. Because I bet what you're going to say was really good as well. I'm afraid I can't help you. Anybody else? Any ideas?
Is it in the drive function? Because Zoom's got a drive function when you're on your mobile, and when you get in your car, it says it's on. If you swipe, she says, waving a hand.
Oh,
If you're on your phone and you swipe right, it's another screen, and you tap to speak because it's like a hands-free kind of to stop you talking and driving. Is it on that? That's the only suggestion I've got.
okay. Thank you. I think she disappeared altogether.
She's gone now.
Oh, Sally. Well, wait. We'll see. Wait, see if she comes back in. So,
Yes.
Sally, how do you know about the Stockdale?
Which book are you reading? Is it Jim Collins?
No, it's John Maxwell, Leadership.
It's in Jim Collins, Good to Great, or oh God, I've got 3 of his, and I've read 2 business books.
Okay, interesting. Steph, can you
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yes, I swiped myself right off the meeting. Exactly. I had faith. I was realistic about the situation, and I had faith I would get back in.
Yes, baby. You just did a fine example right there.
Thank you and that is exactly right. It was to swipe and leave the safe driving mode. So thank you. That was brilliant. Yeah, thank you. I wanted to know what that was that you just read with the Stockdale principle. That was really interesting. Can you take a screenshot of that, what you read? Because that was amazing.
Yeah, that's stuck in my head. I can't get rid of that right now. It's like, never heard that before. I'll screenshot
because I think that is,
Thank you. That is the hardest thing. And it's the hardest thing I think about our bond right now, people building businesses, is that, you know, when I started 12 years ago, it was very clear what we needed to do. And if you did it, you were inevitably going to become a VP. Inevitably. There was no ifs, ands, or buts about it. You were going to do it. And because everything has changed so much, I feel like in my success line and my sidelines, people have stopped believing that there's a recipe for success. And I think there is the recipe for success. It's to talk to people. But because there's all these different ways of talking to people, people get distracted that they feel they're not doing the right thing. And it's never that. It's that we're not talking to enough people, ultimately. And I think that is really helpful in this season to remind ourselves and to work on that consciously, that you will succeed to where you want to go. That success is inevitable. Everything that already exists always existed. The person who invented it just hadn't connected to the idea yet. Mm-hmm. And I think that's the same thing with our business. All your business partners and your first VPs, they are out there in the world. You just have to connect with them. And Richard Bliss Brooks says, you know, there is a day. Why we have to follow up so often with people. And even though we think we're afraid we're being annoying, there's the day where they're ready to say yes. Every other day they're going to say no. But you keep going, because one of the days you're going to hit it on their day to say yes to you. Because if you think about when you said yes to Arbonne,
You probably would have said no the day before. But on that day, the certain circumstances, the person you spoke with, whatever it was that made you say yes, that was the day for your yes. So, yeah, that's good, eh? That was good.
There's
That was
a
good.
training right there, Steph. I love that. You've just put the dots together in this context, you know, 100% in the Stockdale context. You've just lined that up. That idea has gone, ah, yes, this is how I can bring this Stockdale, you know, paradox into the real world with my business with Arbonne and everyone else. Great job.
I just want to quickly say it's so bizarre. I was just listening to a lady who does like star readings and stuff on YouTube, and she was describing exactly what we are talking about right now for Geminis, if you like, and it really resonated with me. So what you're talking about is so resonating with me right now, and it's just quite bizarre that I've heard it twice now in a matter of an hour. So
excellent. Well, Sally's going to join my team then, aren't you, Sally? Because it's only been freaking 14 and a half years, Sally P. Anyway, Lucy, go ahead. Your hand is up. Waiting, Sally. All right, go ahead, Lucy.
On the same lines, I'm trying to lower my hand. So if we did the gold card, do we not put a date?
Who are you do? Are you being specific of a person on the gold card or general?
Yeah, you know when you do your gold card for
Yeah.
yourself, and you're going to be happy, and you're going to be a EMVP by of October. Should we not be putting a date?
Yeah, you should be putting
going
a
with
date.
the Stockdale principle, because they were saying we're going to be out by Christmas, we're going to be out by Easter,
Yeah.
And they
But
weren't.
that's setting
So
a
then
goal.
they kept getting diminished because they weren't getting out.
Yeah, but that's setting a goal. That's different.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, you can set a goal, but you have to set a goal. You have to aspire to a timeline. Otherwise, it's a wish. But obviously, if it doesn't happen, you change it. You keep moving it, right? But you're being realistic about it, not optimistic, hanging all your hopes on that defining moment.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Good. All right, everybody. Okay, so let's go to, oh my God, this is such a great training today, guys. Good job, everybody. And we've still got 16 minutes to go. Okay. So I feel like you are doing a good training. You know, this bike things. All right, page 179. Okay, no, let's not do that. We've just kind of covered that. Right, let's go over to page. No, we're going to skip that. Going to skip that. All right, this is what I like. Okay, so page 183. So it's basically the last sentence in really the proper first paragraph. The mentee will one day become the mentor. I now understand and am willing, knowing that God has entrusted me to be an example, protect and honor this responsibility. To whom much is given, much is expected. Now, I love two of those. I'm going to make those quotes. The mentee will one day become the mentor. Do we agree with that? Yes? Great. And the bottom sentence, to whom much is given, much is expected. That's a Spider-Man quote, right? When the uncle is dying and he finds out his gifts, he's now Spider-Man, and he says, to whom much is given, much is expected. Do we really want the weight of the world on our shoulders to be a superhero? How we think we do we? If we had a choice, who would like to be the queen? Sally would. Anyone else? It's hard. I think we want it all, the fame, the fortune, but do we? Really do we? You know, because you're at everybody else's beck and calling. If you're a superhero, you have to save everyone else. How about saving yourself, says Leslie Hughes, with her very intellectual conversation. How are you doing helping the world when you're feeling alone, sad, empty? Yeah? When you have to smile and shake everybody's hand and everybody has to wait for you, the queen. You have to eat all this food constantly. You don't probably even want to eat. You can't even fart out loud. That's going to be very awkward. I would not find that funny because I like, if I got wind, get it out, right? Loud and proud. But, you know, it's a lot, isn't it? So we say we want, but, you know, when we get there, it's probably not always what it may seem. Yeah. But I wouldn't change it for the world. Ed Milet, when he does his podcast, he always says, has it been worth it? All these famous rich people, was it worth it? Was it worth the journey? Was it worth the pain of discipline over the pain of regret? Would you change it? And most people say no, and I think they're right to say no, you know. But I think, you know, I think we only get given what we can handle. So maybe you're not where you're meant to be, where you think you should be, because you're not ready, and your journey is what will prepare you to be there. And again, the timeline is not yours to decide. The lessons are not yours to be given. You have to get them and learn from them. And at times they can seem so freaking hard and lonely and desolate, can't they? Not why me? Why me? That's your victim mindset. You've got a problem right there. Why not you? You want it? You can have it. But you're going to have to do, you know, you're going to have to go through that. Yeah. Okay, so she then goes on. So here we go. So page 184, the tug, the ultimate guide. I love this tug, the tugboat. Yeah, your ultimate guide. So here we go. So this is this whole page I've pretty much underlined. So let's have from that first proper paragraph. I'm so grateful I didn't, all the way down to the ultimate guide. Second paragraph, so I want Nikki to read that. Second paragraph, my children often share, all the way down to business from our home. That's going to be Karen. The third paragraph, they watch me manage my disappointments, all the way into their adult lives. That is going to be Sally. And the fourth paragraph, in life many will be at your podium, all the way to forward. And I want that to be Stephanie. Stephanie, can you read this time? Yeah, okay, great. Okay, guys, unmute and please go ahead.
My children often share with me that while they are grateful that they had tremendous education experiences, some of their best teachings came from watching mum, yes, me, with only a high school education, build a successful business from home.
They watch me manage my disappointments, struggle with my daily tasks, and interact with people. My kids witness me setting audacious goals and missing them. However, then they watched me pick myself up, go for it again, and achieve them. They saw me fail and make mistakes, but they also saw how I learned from them and pressed on. Of course, these are skills they needed to learn and implemented as they ventured into their adult lives.
In life, many will be at your podium recognition ceremony, but the most important people will be the ones who were with you at the starting blocks and during the race. You'll pick up more fans as you reach the finish line, I can promise you that. Don't let that distract or disappoint you. Keep your blinders on, knowing God has his hand on your back, nudging you forward.
Thank you. Who was number one, the first paragraph for me? Go number one. Did I say somebody else before that, or was it Nikki from there? Okay, thank you. So that one there, guys, keep your blinders on, knowing God has his hand on your back, nudging you forward. I love that. Like, I absolutely love that, because you can even call God the general overall design, as Bob Proctor does in his book, right? Yeah. You know, I love the fact that there is a higher force absolutely giving us permission, pushing us forward to our greatness. Who doesn't want that? Yeah. Who doesn't want that?
Yes.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Anyone want to add to that? No, I love that.
I think
honestly. Go on.
Well, it's what keeps us going. If we feel alone, it's so easy to give up.
Yeah.
You know, we are alone. We are alone. And yet there can be the awareness of something that is so much bigger than we are, that we cannot understand, that directs our lives. And it's kind of, Fiona, what you were talking about earlier, about you've been in tricky situations so many times, and your emotional bank account has helped you go through it, and I think about all of our ancestors who have wished the best for us. Like, you know, Rachel's granddaughter that was just born, Melina. Everybody's going to be happy to receive that baby into the family, and all that baby is going to be filled with good wishes and angel and all this, so much love poured into her. Well, we all have that too from generations, and we forget that we're so connected to something we can't not see. And that feeling of no matter what is going on, that we feel something, if we're lucky and we listen for it, nudging us forward to not give up. Because all of us have got, as hard as the things we have gone through, there are people in the world who've gone through so much harder things and have made it.
Amen.
Amen. It's
Hebrew, amen in Hebrew, so be it. Thank you.
So be it.
So be it. I love that. Whoa, what is going on with this book club tonight? You guys are all geniuses. Seriously, what is this? Love it. I want to say, you know, I remember Robin Sharma in his book saying, when you are born into this world, you cry and the world rejoices. When you die, you want the world to cry and you to rejoice. That's a life you want to lead, right? Another thing, going back to, what was the difference between those men who ran on the battlefield and who survived and who didn't? And most of them didn't. I always think that. You know, I always think that, you know, how come, what made somebody get through D-Day landings? To me, you know, this is the nudging God, you know, forward. And a lot of people didn't make it, but what about those amazing ones who did? Like, how were they chosen?
Yeah.
So, you know, I did a morning message for my team on, I think it was Tuesday morning, Monday morning. Thanks for your comments, Sally, because she does comment sometimes. And I was up at the World War Memorial, and it was about how valiant these courageous men were. And I'm like, and we just do Arbonne. Really put into context, guys, right? You know, really amazing. Anyway, oh my God, guys, this is just, you guys who aren't here on tonight, you better listen to recording, because when you do, you'll just be thinking, damn it, I missed probably one of the best book clubs ever. Hell yeah, you did. Because I mean, it's not about me. You guys are all the brilliant members who are just giving so much to that tonight. Like, Jesus, you can all start your own book club now. Off you go. You don't need, I mean, I'm just a messenger to bring us all together, but Jesus, you guys are loving it. I'm so proud of it. I love it. Well done. Love it. All right, let's have a look at our time. Oh, 5 minutes to go. Great. So we have got cornerstones of significance. Now, this is really, really great. I thought she really did a great job here. So 185, the bottom, achieving success. So that bottom paragraph. Sally, my lovely, it's on you for this one.
Thank you. Achieving success in the earthly realm is important, so don't ever let anyone tell you differently or try to shame you for your success. It is essential to your calling as it creates influence, wealth, and other necessary resources for you to complete the purpose of God in your life. Success can create money, but it can also have a path towards significance when it is stewarded for eternal purposes.
Thank you. Yes. So this is the difference. The law of significance on page 186. Success is when I add value to myself, but significance is when I add value to others. I freaking love
that. Love that bit.
You read it, Sally. I want you to read that.
Success is when I add value to myself, but significance is when I add value to others.
Woo! That in itself
Amazing.
Isn't it just? So you are reading this book, Sally?
Oh yeah, I wasn't not going to read it. I just said I didn't like it. I still don't like it. Sorry.
I'm proud. Proud of you. Proud of you. Okay, so she has 4 cornerstones of significance. Let's just quickly touch on these 4 cornerstones. We are going to actually do this chapter on time. This is so great. Okay, transparency and trust. So I love this. So let's just read from living a life all the way to all times. And let's get Morag, this is on you, please. She's frozen. Okay. Dottie, this is on you, please.
Transparency and trust. Living a life of significance doesn't mean you are perfect. This road doesn't come without obstacles and failures, but we can learn from each other's journey to avoid making the same mistakes. A big mistake prominent people make is attempting to come across as someone who doesn't fail, someone who is perfect and polished at all times.
That good, thank you. So yes, isn't that, we see those people all the time, don't we? Oh, they're just, they're not, I don't, immediately my hackles are up. Like I think if I was a dog, I'd attack them. They're so off-putting, right? Because they just think my shit doesn't stink. Yeah, it freaking does, mate. Like, I don't really enjoy people like that. So that is definitely one of my turn-offs for people. Okay, the next one is integrity and honesty. So I would like, can I get Lucy, can you unmute and read the last sentence? These character traits all the way to quickly fizzling out, please.
Sorry, I was just writing that quote in my little book.
We have to do that later.
I've done it now, but I didn't hear what you said. I heard my name.
See, this is what happens. Okay.
Easily distracted is Lucy
for distraction, I was just going to say. Okay, so you're reading. We run out of time now. You're reading page 187, the last sentence of integrity and honesty. These character traits all the way to quickly fizzling out, my lovely.
These character traits are found in those who become and remain successful. I call this concept the difference between a shooting star and a rising star. Love that. A rising star stays the course, while a shooting star is here today and gone tomorrow, quickly fizzling out. So
now that's a great quote right there. Are you a shooting star or a rising star? Oh, I don't know. Let me tell you which one you are. Okay, so we are all rising stars, obviously, because listen to the way you even talk, guys. You're just like, you can mentor, charge £500 an hour with your mindset, I tell you. Okay, serve and value is the third one. I'm just going to quickly touch on this one. People don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. That's the middle sentence, and I said that in my little thing on Saturday, my training. That comes from so many books. Rita Danforth used to say that a lot. And don't we know that's the truth, right? Then the last one, we, not me. And then I would like, so that second sentence, it is crucial to establish over the page to a cornerstone of significance. And I would like Leslie to read that, please.
Oh, sorry, from which bit?
It is crucial to establish.
It is crucial to establish an expectation of personal and team development, which in turn grows confidence and competence. By ignoring this, you create a performance lid that can cause stagnation and negativity. Empowered personal development is the cornerstone of significance.
Thank you. Empowered. Highlight that, guys, if you've not got that highlighted yet. Empowered personal development is a cornerstone of significance. What makes us empowered? What does that word mean? Anyone? Go, Sally.
Choice.
Yeah. And what do you mean by that?
That you get to choose your path, or that you feel like you haven't had that choice taken away from you by others around you, or by the situation, or by not having enough money, for example, or not enough time, all of those things.
Love it. So choice. The choice is, so choice is one of my favorite words, in the sense that so many people think they don't have a choice. You always have a choice. The choice is not denoted by the outside forces in the outside world. The choice is yours internal to make. You decide. You, Penelope, control that. That is your gift. It's your choice. You have that power. Don't ever let anyone take that away from you, or don't think you ever need to hand that power over, because it's yours to give. if you want to, yeah, but it's yours. No one can take it. You only give it. If you decide to give it to a partner that you're not happy with, that's your choice to do that. Yeah, that's your inner world. The outside world can't ever take that. That's you. That's your empowerment, is your choice. I love that. Sorry, spot on. And on that note, well, we started it. That's in exactly an hour. I'm going to do, so I just want somebody to read. So I'm going to have, because she froze, Morag is back, not frozen. Welcome back. I'm glad you thawed out there, Morag. So I want you to do that 1, 2, 3, 4 paragraph. Fourth paragraph. Yes, it's true that God does, all the way to have in your workplace, please.
There goes. Thank you. Yes, it's true that God does have plans to prosper you, but it requires action in your heart. Seek Him with all your heart, call Him and pray, and He will listen to you. This is the most powerful partnership you can have in your workplace.
Thank you so much. So that word tug, the ultimate guide that you talked about earlier on, giving yourself permission to have a significant vision for a great impact on the world, and tune out the noise that tells you otherwise. Follow your Holy Spirit tug, the ultimate guide. And I would like to think we can listen in to those voices that tell you the truth. Gandhi says the inner voice, or Buddha says, you know, that ultimate guide. Whether we choose to listen to that voice, is that the voice of reason, or we choose to not, that's our choice. Yeah, you know when you're going to do something you shouldn't do it, right? But you want to do it anyway. You know that, yeah, but you go against it. We've all done that, guys. We've all been there, yeah, because we want it. We want whatever that may be, the satisfaction, or you know, but we know we shouldn't do it. Yeah, and there are consequences always. That's the law. Every single thing is surrounded by the law. Yeah, so there will always be consequences to your actions, and that always comes from your choices. But I remember reading one thing and saying, when you want something, you know, you can't just sit at the bottom of the hill and pray to God to place you on the top. You actually have to show by starting to walk, yeah, to walk to the top of the hill. You have to do the action to get to the top. You can't just wish and pray and want. And I think that's where so many people go wrong. They say, if I pray is just you asking, you know, but you still got to do the do to get the end result, right? Wouldn't we say? Yeah. Okay, great. Are we all good? We are done. My God, I feel like that went super fast tonight. What an incredible book club with the right people in the right room. So all the rest of you who missed out, shame. But I'll let Rachel off because well done, you Bambino. But the rest of us, listen and act, is Morag. See, there she is. The final word comes from Morag. Oh, no, Dottie's got amazing book club today. So Dottie has the final word. All right, everybody, lots of love, and I'll see you next week. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Are we going to try and get a photograph tomorrow?
Oh, yeah, we'll do that. Yeah, let's do that. Cool.